Hi everyone, welcome back to another video here on my Infinite Strength channel. So in the last episode we talked about infinite strength and infinite strength exploration and what that means to me. And today I want to talk about another concept that kind of ties in very beautifully to that, which is movement optimism. So when you think about strength and being strong for a long time, being strong infinitely, movement is something that ties in seamlessly with strength. You need to have strength, but you also need to be able to move. You need to be able to get into different positions, move different ways to really live life to the fullest. So movement, in addition to strength, is something that's absolutely essential for a high quality of life. And movement optimism is this concept that I've seen online that basically describes the idea that movement is a great thing, generally. Pretty much almost always. And your body can move in so many different ways. I mean, just see what different athletes, what different people, how many different ways you can move, how many different positions your body can get into. And movement is something that should be cherished, that should be celebrated, and that should also be worked on. And moving in all these different ways, your body is capable of so many different things. You can round your back, you can bend to the side, your knees can go over your toes. You can do all these different things that where people sometimes think that's a dangerous position to get into, or a dangerous movement, or a dangerous exercise. Where the way I think about it now, and a lot of people that I am inspired by, is basically this idea that any position that your body can get into, any movement that your body is capable of, is also something that can be trained with weights progressively. You can get stronger in. And if you do train that consistently and progressively and don't exceed your capacity that you have, so basically don't use too much weight that you can get hurt, and kind of slowly build up on that, start slow and slowly keep building, keep adding more weight, keep getting stronger. All these different positions and movements are some things you can train. You can round your back, you can get stronger in a rounded position. You can let your knees go really far over your toes and get better at that. You can bend to the side and train all these different things. And that's something I've really started to explore. It's not something I've done too much of during my professional throwing career. I mean, it was very much, in a way, fairly one-dimensional, just training to make the shot go as far as possible. Do a lot of technique training, a lot of lifting, a lot of really heavy weights, but in kind of some limited planes. I mean, obviously did some rotational stuff because throwing is a rotational sport, especially when you do the spin technique, which I used to do. So we did a lot of that, but we also did a lot of just kind of, I guess what you would call, I think, in the sagittal plane, just kind of up and down. But there wasn't too much variety kind of in my training to explore different sorts of movement. I had a lot of different pains, knee pain, back pain, and part of that was just I was trying to push my limits to what my body was capable of to throw the shot as far as possible. But part of that was also just I didn't train in a holistic enough of a way. And when I stopped my throwing career, I really wanted to explore that more, train more holistically, train in all these different types of ways, explore different movements, explore kind of some intense kind of knees over your toes activities like sissy squats or these quad fallbacks or reverse Nordics that I do now. Also some rounded back stuff like the Jefferson curls or the Zercher deadlifts that you kind of see me doing on my channel now, which are all things which traditionally kind of would have caused me pain, and I would have been afraid to do those and like labeled them as kind of dangerous or bad exercises. But when I really took a step back and kind of slowly started exploring these things, slowly started building up my capacity to do all of that, I quickly realized like, wow, this actually feels really good if you don't go too crazy and just slowly, progressively add more weight over time. You can get stronger in it. My body actually started to feel a lot better. I basically have no more knee pain at all. I have no more back pain. And I'm a big believer that that's basically from my experience, that once I started exposing my body to these ranges, to these movements, trained through a really full range of motion, emphasized the stretch positions, and really added in some more mobility aspects in my training as well, my body really started to feel a lot better. And now I can lift weights off the ground with a really rounded back. That actually feels pretty great. I can get into a split squat where I let the knee travel really far past the toes with a big stretch in my back leg. I can do these kind of crazy quad fallbacks now with a crazy stretch in my quads. And I continue to explore all these different movements. And I gotta say, it's really exciting. It feels really great. And I see a lot of stuff now online, or at least in my content bubble that I am in, a lot of people who portray these same ideas that you shouldn't fear movement. Movement is something that you should be encouraged, that you can train in all these different ranges. You just need to do it in a way that's smart, where you don't rush the weights, don't exceed your capacity and get hurt. So, but you can train all these things. You can slowly build up your capacity and ideally or eventually get more resilient training that way. And that's really been my experience. And when I think about infinite strength and being resilient and training for a really long time, being healthy, being able to move great, having joints that don't hurt, all these things are very important. And I believe training your body through a full range of motion, to really think around mobility as well, mobility and stretch, and getting in all these different positions, getting in all these different movements, letting your spine bend, letting your knees travel over your toes, all these different things is just gonna make you better in the long run. It's gonna make your body feel better, but it needs to be done in a way, and with a slow, progressive way. And that's really the only secret there is, really. You can load all these different things, you can get better in it, but you just need to start slow and slowly build up your capacity. So that's really what movement optimism is. It's this idea that you should be optimistic about movement. Movement should be encouraged. You can move in all these different ways, and you can also load all these different positions and movements and actually get stronger in it. And it's not gonna be dangerous. It's not gonna hurt you. And actually training all these things in the long run is gonna make you a lot better, a lot more resilient, and just a more holistically strong, capable body that can move in all these different ways, and just has more capacity to move, more capacity for strength, and more capacity to express all these different things in your life and live life to the fullest and experience all these different things. So yeah, that's something I try to experiment with. It's something that I try to encompass in all my own training. That's why you see me exploring all these different movements, moving in all these different ways, and also loading it, because I really do believe that, yes, movement is great. You need to move in all these different ways, but just as much as movement is important, strength is also really important. And combining all these different things just makes a great combo to just make you better and have a more capable, resilient body. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. That's kind of philosophically my idea around movement, and movement optimism ties in very closely with infinite strength and infinite strength exploration. And together they create this philosophical framework for me, how I think around training and movement in life, really. So I think it's a beautiful journey. There's so much beautiful information out there now. It's a great time to be alive, really. There's so much stuff to explore, so many different people to learn from, and I continue to do so. I find that super exciting, and I'm going to continue to move. I'm going to continue to strength train, And I'm going to continue to explore all these different things and take you guys with me on that journey. So if you're interested in all that, please follow along. I invite you to join this journey with me, to think around infinite strength exploration in your own life and embrace all these concepts of movement optimism, and infinite strength in your own life to make you a better, more complete person that has a good time, that's able to move, that's able to be strong and express that in a positive way in your life. So yeah, thank you very much for listening. I hope you all have a great day, and let's go out there, move, let's go out there, get stronger, and let's all have fun together. Let's go.